Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to more Insurgency Sandstorm, and we're going to do a beginner's guide today. I've got a whole series of beginner series, but this will get you up and running in about 10 minutes and getting you enjoying the game straight at the bat and give you a whole lot of tips along the way. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Let's do it! So here's the weird thing. If you're watching my channel for the first time, this is the first Insurgency Sandstorm video you watched of mine. Weirdly, this comes towards the end of the series I did for beginners, so anything I reference today in the video may well have another video attached to it where you can dive in and grab much more information if you need to. Yeah, the beginner's guide I have done after I've done about 8 or 10 videos for beginners, so I'm a very helpful guy. That's G4. Welcome to the channel. Anyway, let's get into it. And we're going to start with the AI, because to get you up and running with this guide, I want to get you up and running in around 10 minutes. Just all the things that you need to do, and then you're off and running into your first game like a gazelle, an absolute gazelle, and yeah, you'll be flying before you know it. So we're going to start with the AI, and your first port of call should be the tutorial in the starting screen. Go to the tutorial. Do the tutorial. There are a number of reasons why you should do this, people. One of the main reasons is you need to know which buttons you need to press to get everything to work. Pretty important, I would say. Buttons pressing, working, being not killed. That's pretty important, I would say. Pretty important. So go to the tutorial. It'll take you a few minutes. It takes you through a small little part of a map. Shows you everything that you need to know, and then you will be set. You can set up your controller and you're ready. Here you go. Pretty nice. By the way, bonus, you also get 1,000 credits so that you can customize your character if you so like, but we'll get to that in a little bit of detail a wee bit later. So when you first come into Insurgency Sandstorm, the second thing I would suggest you do is choose which mode you want to play in. Do you want to play PvE, person versus environment, or do you want to play PvP? My suggestion, if you're starting out, do the PvE, learn how the mechanics work, and then you can make a determination, but it is up to you. So that's going to be extremely important which game mode you are going to choose, because it's going to influence how you set up your loadouts, and you are going to have to set up your loadouts before you can do anything in the game. You're going to do that first, and we're going to show you how to do that in a second. Also, if you've done the tutorial like I said, you should hopefully open the second class, or be close to opening your second operator class. When you start the game, all you get is rifleman and a number of guns in the rifleman class. So if you haven't opened the breacher class yet, you will do that very quickly after the tutorial. So let's get into the loadout screen now, and I'm going to briefly touch on what you need to do. So I have already done a couple of videos on loadouts, so I'm not going to go into the details of that today. Please watch the build your first loadout video and how to find your missing loadout video. It's very important, because it'll save you a lot of time, save you a lot of frustration. But basically what you need to do before you start the game, you will find the rifleman class. You need to choose a weapon, and my suggestion is either the M16 or the AUG 3, one of those two. Doesn't matter which one, but you've got a number of rifles to choose from. Choose one of them, whatever it is, and then what you will have to do is you have two factions there. You have to make 4 loadouts, people. Regardless whether you're in versus, co-op, whatever, you'll have to make 4 loadouts. And why do you need to make 4 loadouts? well, you have to make one for each faction. So Insurgents, you may need to make a day or night for whatever game type you're playing. And then Security, you have to make a day-night for whatever game type you're playing. Like I said, I would suggest co-op, but up to you if you want to do versus, but make sure you're making 4 loadout classes before you get started. If you don't do this, you're going to get into game and you're going to be scratching your head and swearing and doing all kinds of stuff looking for your loadouts, and they ain't going to be there. So, very important, do your loadouts, and then that is going to set you up to get rocking and rolling in your first game. You're ready to go, people. Yes, you can go and shoot people now, if you like. So now that we get into the game, one of the first things that I would suggest you do, make sure you have a gas mask on your class, and make sure that you put it on before you start the game. And why do I say that? The gas mask can give you a whole heap of advantages, but one of the big things that has got me killed a few times is actually getting into a situation where the enemy might gas you or throw smoke bombs, and what that will do is you'll start coughing, and when you start coughing, you're giving your position up to the enemy. So putting your gas mask on takes a little bit of time. The animation takes a little bit of time, and a few times I've actually been killed putting on my gas masks because the enemies hear you coughing, they target you, and yeah, you're gone. So it's one of those easy things just to put your gas mask on at the start of the game. And then it's like set and forget, just forget about it. The other few advantages that this will give you, you will hear your communications for your teammates a heck of a lot more clearer, crisper, and even the AI call-outs you will hear a lot crisper. And obviously the other thing is you're prepared for any situation, and you know, you're not going to give away your position by coughing or doing anything. So just one of those things that I suggest you make sure, number one, you have the gas mask on your class. Number two, you put it on at the start of every match, and you'll just get used to the view it gives you. Over time, I don't even notice I'm even wearing one. And it's a good safety mechanism for you, and something you don't need to worry about in game. The second thing I would say is take your time, slow down. I came from Call of Duty, I was looking for an alternative game to play. I found Insurgency Sandstorm, and as you would expect, I tried to play like a Call of Duty player. Don't do that in this game, because you're going to end up being killed very, very quickly. Slow down, take your time, check your corners, work your way across the map. Let your teammates go first, and follow on and learn how your gun works, how the maps are, etc, etc. Just slow down, take your time. It will be much more fulfilling if you do that than running and gunning. Once you're confident and you have played the game for a few hours and you're starting to learn the mechanics, by all means, if run and gun is your style, please feel free to do that. But when you are starting, take your time and slow down. So one of the things that I do recommend you do, especially early when you're beginning, is get a sight which has a variable zoom on it. It gives you a good option of doing both medium to long range and short range. And I think it's a good learning curve for you. Once you're confident and you've got things buttoned down, then it's up to you what optic you use. But I do recommend a 1x 2x variable optic. And how I suggest you run it is, if you are in open play, use the 2x scope with a single fire rate. Once you get inside buildings or are about to go into the buildings, switch it to a 1x scope and go fully auto on your gun. And that's how I run my setup, and I know a lot of people recommend this for for playing the game, and it will take a bit of time to get used to switching between the different optics and switching between the different fire rates, and it might be a bit frustrating, but trust me, it will help you a heck of a lot to be very competitive in the game, and yeah, take care of the enemies very quickly, because you will die very quickly in this game. Let me tell you, it is a quick time to kill. So the more strategic advantage that you have during the gameplay, the better. Another thing I suggest you do, and we touched on it earlier about loadouts, but optimizing the loadout or optimizing the weapon that works for you, works for your play style and how you want to go across the map is very important. Now, there are a number of different operators that you will unlock as you go through the game, but given that this is a beginner setup, I do have some guides on some starting weapons, but getting the right level attachments for you, and the variable optic is only one, but making sure that the recoil is under control, and I do have a video that will help you do that, which is on screen about now, is a very key thing, especially those longer ranges, and yeah, having your gun set up properly and working for you will again help you stay up a lot longer and enjoy the game much more. We did mention earlier how you have to be kind of slow and steady and methodical in approaching this game, and no more so when you are coming into buildings. Clearing buildings is one of the most important things that you ever do in the game, and also make sure that you're checking your corners and taking your time, especially coming into a building or coming into an area for the first time, because you will not know where the enemies are. And they are sneaky buggers, let me tell you. I mean, they could be hiding right in plain sight in a place they don't expect. So make sure you take your time, check your corners, go through and clear carefully, and yeah, it should help your overall experience. And the last tip I've got to you is, once you've played a couple of games, if you want to improve and you want to continue to improve, use the tools that they give you, the tools that are available to you. And what I would say you can do is use the local play menu in the main AI. This allows you to run missions with a team of yourself and a team of other 3 bots against bots. You can go through and you can pick out what scenarios you want to run, and you can do night missions, you can do day missions, you can go through all the maps and start to learn them. So practice is perfect. And the second thing that I would suggest you use is go to tutorials and go to the range and play around with some gun setups, shoot a few different weapons and find the one that works for you. Both of those things will help you immensely to get much more into the game, be much more effective, become more accurate, understand the maps, understand where the enemies will be spawning, a whole raft of things. And it's like any game, you're only going to get out of the game what you put in, and so practice. So there you go, guys. There is my beginner's guide for Insurgency Sandstorm. I hope it's been useful. If it has, let me know down in the comments. Like I said, I have a whole series for beginners that go through things in a lot more detail, but really I just wanted this to be a starter guide that gets you up and running within about 10 minutes and get you playing the game and get you enjoying this awesome shooter. Thanks for watching. A like ratings are always appreciated, and we'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya.